Video games are a unique form of entertainment in the sense that they're able to change and react to input given by the player. In 2007's There Will Be Blood, Daniel Plainfield will always scream about milkshakes no matter how I watch the movie.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
And I will always laugh. Whereas in Skyrim, I've never actually gotten the full Fusro Da, as I'm always far too busy becoming a magical lizard god, who is also a vampire, who is also a werewolf. This unset path enables video games to connect with the player on a personal level, since the adventure they experience is not only the playable characters, but the player's adventure as well. We take an active role in the journey, which helps us empathize with our character's story and actions, to the point where we ourselves grow and change alongside them. Many different games have many different forms and methods of progression, including leveling up, finding new equipment, finding better equipment, upgrading equipment, getting new abilities, gaining new allies, spending money, upgrading a base, exploring a map, unlocking a new character, and clearing a difficult boss. Clearing a difficult boss. That's still not the right clip. Clearing a difficult, getting a checkpoint. That's good. All of these have become staples of video games as they represent tangible growth for the character, which then in turn gives the player a sense of progression. This sense of progression is a powerful tool that can elevate a game's impact to be so much more, and is even used as the main incentive in some games, like Metrovanias or clickers. Personally, I find getting a sense of progression to be so intrinsic to video games as a whole that I call it a golden aspect of gaming, or in other words, it is something that defines gaming as a unique form of entertainment. To help explain why I believe that a sense of progression is so important, I'm going to give an overview of a game that has mastered installing its players with a sense of progression, despite the fact that it has almost no progression at all. Celeste tells the story of a young girl named Madeline and her journey to surmount the challenge of climbing the titular mountain of Celeste. Madeline herself is not certain as to why she wants to climb the mountain, but hopes that in doing so will prove something to others or perhaps to herself. She's quickly warned that climbing Celeste is no easy task and will be accompanied with the unnatural. Our would-be mountain climber ignores these warnings and begins her trek, despite her lack of experience and unfocused motivation. On top of this, poor Madeline suffers from panic attacks, which is shown to affect her both physically and socially. Early on her venture, Madeline comes face to face with a physical manifestation of a part of herself and a part that she does not like, who proceeds to become another obstacle for Madeline to overcome. Never have I felt so in tune with a character than I have with Madeline, and it's not because I'm a young Canadian girl or because I understand how it feels to suffer from panic attacks, or have almost any relation to this character. It is because playing Celeste is hard, and climbing Celeste is hard, which brings me to the gameplay.
Video game.
Madeline has the ability to move, jump, grab walls, and climb them for a limited duration, and a dash you can perform in mid-air. And that's it. That is your entire moveset. You start with all these moves too, except the dash, but you do get in the first 5 minutes. You never improve these moves or get new ones. You just get better as you play the game, and you have to if you want to see everything that this game has to offer. The mountain has a way to entice you to go that extra mile too, by offering optional challenges in the form of strawberries, hearts, and cassette tape levels. With this setup, Madeline's journey becomes an analogy for playing Celeste. Every time Madeline complains or faces hardship, you understand it because you too must overcome the climbing of Celeste, and you will fail. You will hit hazards, you will fall, enemies will get you, and some obstacles will seem insurmountable. My favorite moments of Celeste is when I hit a section, tried it a few times, and would literally say aloud, I can't do this, only to throw myself into the gauntlet again and again until somehow, against the challenge and my own self-doubt, I get past it. I hope this sounds familiar, as only minutes ago I used a description just like this to describe Madeline in her quest to climb Celeste. This parallel of gameplay and story makes Madeline's struggles my own, and when she triumphs over her tribulations, I share in the satisfaction of victory. Starting with your entire moveset emphasizes this parallel because you progress through the game by improving your skills, and in doing so, it gives you that all-important sense of progression. Every screen you clear, strawberry you collect, or death you encounter is a part of yours and Madeline's journey. The game itself understands this as well, and tries to allow you to play the game no matter your skill level. From the very beginning, you are given the simple words, you can do it. And though it does not mean much at first, this message begins to resonate more and more as you get closer to the summit of the mountain. You receive postcards in between levels that encourage you and remind you of how far you've come. Like this one and how it says it's impossible to outrun your own reflection. What? One postcard tells you to be proud of your death count, as it shows the effort you've put in. So instead of being a note of failure, it is transformed into a medal of achievement that despite your struggles, you overcame it. If the challenges do prove themselves to be too much for you, however, you are able to use assist mode, which allows you to slow down the gameplay, make yourself invincible, or give you more dashes in the middle of the air. And if for whatever reason you still fail to surmount Celeste, the game has a monument in your honor and memory. You will not be forgotten. For you of those who do make the climb, the game reveals new ways your moves can be used alongside with obstacles that can't be passed without them. These reveals are so shocking because you've always been able to use these techniques, you simply just didn't know you had it in you. It's mind-boggling how far you get in this game, and then it just shows you you're capable of even more. The only time Celeste ever steps away from this impeccable approach to progression is in Chapter 7, The Summit, where Madeline is able to perform 2 dashes in the air, which is done for new level design and narrative purposes that resonate perfectly with the themes of self-acceptance and positive thinking. In the end, I cannot recommend Celeste enough, not only due to its perfection of establishing a sense of progression, but also because the game itself is a fun and accessible challenge that tells a charming and heartwarming story with gorgeous music along the way. It is an experience that put gaming as a whole into perspective for me and showed me how important that I am in a game, and how my experiences along a linear adventure can be personal. I like to think that in some way, I'm different after Celeste. I feel that way anyways, and if not, then that's fine and I accept that. I'm just truly happy to have been able to climb Celeste.
Go ahead, say the line!
No.